Questions coming from Eric Gunderson with the Associated Press.
Well, Coach, how do you think Melo looked tonight down the stretch of the game? I mean, he made those couple big shots, got the steal. What did you like about his performance tonight down the stretch and him playing looked like he was playing the five?
Well, I don't know if there was a five out there. You know, it was Rocco and Melo were our biggest guys. But, you know, Toronto played a small lineup. Boucher is their big guy, but he spaced the court shooting three. So we wanted to be able to switch pick and rolls. But to answer your question about Melo, I thought he was terrific, and especially down the stretch. You know, he came up with some big shots, obviously. I mean, he's kind of built for that type of game. You know, he understands it and enjoys the moment.
Next question is coming from Jason Quick with The Athletic.
Coach, can you talk about the decision not to call a timeout there with on the play that CJ scored?
That's easy. That's the easy decision.
Yeah.
You know, you get the ball against their defense and they're switching any play. I couldn't have drawn up a play to get a shot. They're a good defensive team when their defense set with their switching. It's hard to pop guys open. So that was a pretty easy decision. We were able to get in some flow without them setting up.
Yeah.
Next question is coming from Dwight James with NBC Sports Northwest.
Terry, I thought they did a pretty good defensive job on you guys all night long. And I think they came in the league 21st ranked in defensive rating, but is that as good a defense as you've seen? It appeared they took you out of what you wanted to do a few times, and you had to play a lot of one-on-one.
Well, yeah, we did because of all their switching. You know, they're a good defense. They've been a good defensive team for years, starting with Dwayne Casey a few years ago, and obviously they won a championship. And they've got some really good defenders. Kyle Lowry is an excellent defender. So is Van Vliet. So is Siakam. So they're a very good defensive team. I don't think their ranking right now really shows. They have a history of being a good defensive team. That being said, you know, they played a small lineup. They took the bigs out. So when teams switch, if you don't take advantage of the first switch, it ends up being one-on-one. And, you know, they played a lot of one-on-one too because we were switching as well. So it's not necessarily pretty basketball from my standpoint, but it is what it is. That's when teams are doing that, then you kind of go at matchups and see what you can get. It's what you do after the one-on-one, whether you get to the rim or kick it out for threes. I thought they did a nice job of when they did penetrate, they kicked it out and they made a few threes, you know, just different ways of attacking it.
Next question is coming from Christos Saltas with Sport DNA.
Hello, Coach. Congratulations on the win. I
Thank
would like to ask you are down by 17 points during the game. What did you change about your approach, and also how easy make your game plan players like CJ, Dame, and Melo on the court?
Well, I really thought the last 5 minutes of the first half and the last 5 minutes of the second half were the difference in the game for us. You know, we got down 17 in the first half, and the way we got back into the game at the end of the first half, we showed some grit, we showed some toughness. We were a little pissed off, and we got it to a 5-point deficit at halftime. And basically, it was the same thing at the end of the second half, at the end of the game. I thought the last 5 minutes were tough, hard played minutes, and you know we made some good plays defensively. Obviously, you got to make shots as well, but I really liked our demeanor when we were down 14 in the fourth quarter.
Coming back to Jason Quick from The Athletic.
Coach, we've known that CJ's been a very good player for a very long time, but this year it seems like he's gone up a level in play. What does that do for you guys when he plays at this level?
Well, you know, he's playing at an all-star level. There's no question. And when it makes it difficult, an understatement is that it makes it difficult for the opponents because it makes it a little bit easier on Dame. He doesn't have to work. Now the defense has to – it's hard to trap two different players in pick and rolls, whether it's Dame or CJ. I think it gets it can get a little confusing. So when you have him playing at that level, especially with his 3-point shooting, it just, it's obviously it helps.
And then can you give any update on Nurk and what's going on with this tie?
I don't. Did we send it? Yeah. Other than the fact that he has a quad contusion, I don't have an update.
Okay. I mean, but like early in the game, you get the news that, hey, Nurks might not come back. That's obviously a big part of your team. What goes through your mind when you hear that news?
Well, my first thought is, how serious is it for him? My first thought is my concern for him and, the extent of the injury. But after that, for a game like this, where I knew they like playing a small lineup, Alex Len and Baines haven't been playing much. So I knew there was a chance, even going into the game, I knew there was a chance that we were going to play Rocco or Melo at 5 anyway. So, and obviously Harry Giles was going to be a consideration once I heard that.
Okay.
Next question is coming from Aaron Fentress with the Oregonian.
Coach, Covington played some center sometimes last year with Houston. So was it nice? I mean, this is some of the versatility you guys were hoping to get out of him, having a situation where you can play him as basically the 5. And you said there wasn't one out there, but he D'd up on their bigs down the stretch there.
Well, yeah, he was guarding Siakam, and I would be remiss right now if I didn't say what an excellent job Robert did on Siakam in the second half. Siakam came out with 10 in the first quarter. Rocco got 2 quick fouls, but I thought the defensive job he did on him, particularly in the fourth quarter, but in general for the second half was a key to the win. As far as him playing 5, I thought one of the bigger plays was, and I saw him do this in Houston, but he would be a set of pick and roll, set of ball screen. Instead of always popping, he rolled and Dame hit him and kicked it out for a 3. And so he knows, playing with Houston, when teams switch a lot, he knew how to attack that.
Okay, thanks.
Last question is coming from Dwight James with NBC Sports Northwest.
You mentioned Giles, and you used him only a little less than 5 minutes, and down a center. And it seemed like this was one team where he had a lot of matchups, long guys he could maybe stay with or guard. What goes into the decision on whether to stay with the other guys and use him?
Well, starting Ennis was the natural thing to do, and I knew Harry would get in at some point. But like I said, I think it was really dictated by the way Toronto was playing. But getting my best player, keeping my best players on the court. Melo, Gary Trent played more 3 instead of 2. We just shifted down a little bit. So, Rocco goes to 5, Melo's at 4, Gary down to 3. We extended CJ and Dame's minutes in the second half. So when that happens, that affects. I know it doesn't sound right, but extending Dame and CJ's minutes in the second half affects even big guys.
And Terry, what about just on the last play of the game, your decision not to double Siakam? You're comfortable with that, letting Rocco have him right till the end?
Well, Dame went over. I think, if I remember right, I think Dame went over and stunned it at him and kind of froze him a little bit. But Siakam is a willing passer. They made their threes. They made their shots. They cut well without the ball. And Rocco had been doing a good job on the entire second half. So those were some of the reasons why we didn't.
All right, we'll wrap it there. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, everybody.